Hi guys, while I was editing this video I realised that the sound had cut out for about the first 4 minutes, so I'm just going to voice over this part, and I'm just explaining here that today's video is an easy spring everyday makeup. Even though I don't wear makeup every day, I've decided to do a little spring everyday makeup. So yeah, let's get straight into it. I'll talk you through the steps as we go along. Before we start here, I'm just showing you my acrylic nails that I did myself because I was very proud of them. And they've actually lasted me over a week so far, which is good management for me. Anyway, here I am using my Boots Everyday toner, and I'm just showing how little I have left because I need to go get some more. But I'm just going in with this first to remove any oils or debris or anything on the skin, like sun cream or anything that will get in the way of the makeup. And I just want to start with a nice clean base, and also I just find that this toner really makes my skin feel really smooth, and we want quite a smooth natural base for this makeup today. So I've just used a cotton pad to wipe that all over my face. And then here I'm just going in with my L'Oreal Paris Day Moisturiser, and I like to use this because it's quite a light moisturiser, so I just apply that all over the face and rub it in before we go in with any foundation or anything. And this is just a really nice light coverage moisturiser. It's very watery, and yeah, it just creates a nice light coverage for hot days. And then to start with eyebrows, I'm just taking the spoolie on the end of an eyebrow brush and just brushing all of my eyebrow hairs up and out like a soap brow almost, but without securing them in place. And then here I'm just taking my NYX Lift and Snatch eyebrow pen, and it's like a little eyeliner pen, and I always like to tip it upside down just to get all the liquid down to the bottom. And I just start out really by drawing in lines on my eyebrows and filling in all of the gaps and following the shape of my natural eyebrow really, and just draw them in, and they just look like little hairs. And I do tend to shape the front as well, and I just like to go a little bit lighter towards the front to create almost an ombre brow effect, but still with a natural soap brow. And then I'm just going over that work again with that spoolie just to blend it in a bit, make it look a little bit more natural. And recently I've just been brushing the ends of my brow hairs down to create a straight line because they're a bit overgrown. And to me this feels very self-explanatory, just to do my brows, but I have got a little tutorial over on my TikTok of just brows. It's pretty much the same thing as here, so you're not getting much else, but yeah, I just write on screen what I do basically. And then to clean up the brows, I'm just going in with my Maybelline Fit Me concealer in the shade 3, which is the shade I always use. I always use this concealer. I'm just taking a round flat brush from Morphe to put that onto my eyes. And out of habit, I just always put my concealer on the back of my hand from uni. So I'm just taking that, and then we don't put too much on if it's on the back of our hand. And I'm basically just mapping out where my brow already is. I do like to cut a bit of the tail off. Just because I don't like a long brow, but I do like an arch as well, but not like a corner arch, more like a soft curve. So yeah, and then I do square out the front a little bit as well. And then I just like to take any product that I have left on the rest of my eyelid just to create an even base, and I do have a lot of redness on my eyelids as well, so this just evens it out. Any spare product I have on the brush after I've done both of the eyes, I like to take a little bit in the middle of my brows just to get rid of that monobrow in case we have one going on. Now I'm just taking this dense fluffy brush from Morphe, and it's a small version of my foundation one that I have, and I'm just saying here that I use it to buff in the concealer on the eyelids because it's pretty much blended already, but we just want to buff it in as well to be sure. And then I always go through the middle, blend that as well, and I take it a little bit into the front of the brows just to soften up the lightness of them again to create the ombre effect. And I do also just get rid of a little bit of that line at the front of the underneath of the brow so that it doesn't look like it's just a straight across line. And this is where the audio comes back, so thanks for bearing with me. I don't know if the audio cut out there or at what point, but we'll just carry on from the point I was making. So now that the brows are done and we've concealed the eyes, I'm going to do a tiny bit of contouring on the eyes, like a bit of eyeshadow, but mostly just to give them a bit of something so they're not just stark white staring out at you while the rest of the face is contoured. So I'm just going in with this palette, which I was saying is, you wouldn't believe it, but this is fairly brand new. This is the MUA Makeup Academy 5-shade eyeshadow palette, Neutral Wonderlust. This eyeshadow was like less than £3. I can't remember the exact amount. It was less than £3, and it is the best thing. I just scraped my nail in it. The best pigment, honestly. I'm pretty sure I've shown you it, but that is the shimmer. So what I was just going to do was just take a fluffy brush from Morphe, and I was going to lightly dip into this brown shade and tap it off. And I just want to add a tiny bit of contouring to the crease here. And you can see how pigmented that is from the fact that I tapped off that product off already. But I don't want too much, I just want a little bit of a subtle contour. And then I'm just going to do the same on the other eye. So now that we've got that colour on there and it's just like more of a subtle contour, and it'll look even more subtle once we have the rest of the skin on as well. I think I actually might go in with a little bit of a shimmer because it feels spring to me. Just like a wet, dewy look. So I'm going to go in with that light pink shimmer that I just showed you, and I'm literally going to take the tiniest bit and I'm just going to use my fingertip to pat it onto the eyelid and then use my other finger to just blend the edges. I think that's quite good. It gives the eyes something, but it's nothing that would take away from the rest of the face. So before we start skin, I've just gone in with my eyelash curler and I've just given my lashes a bit of a pump of that just to curl them up, ready to put mascara on. I'm thinking of using a brown mascara as well, just to make it more subtle, more day looking than a black. So I'm going to go in with my Jason Wu light brown mascara. Is this a brown mascara? Yeah, it is, but I use it on my eyelashes. And I'm just going to coat my lashes with this basically. And I'm not sure if I'm going to do bottom lashes, but I'll decide that once we've got the base on the face. And then for skin, I'm just going to go in with my e.l.f. Power Grip Primer, and this is the new one that I have. It's got niacinamide in it. Don't know if I'm saying that right, but it evens out the skin tone. So I've not actually used this yet, so this is a first impressions. But as you know, I love the Power Grip, and I just thought it looked pretty in pink, I'm not gonna lie. I'm just gonna apply that where I would normally, and I'm just gonna blend that in to the face. Next, I'm going to go in on the face and I'm going to use my Revolution Skin Silk Serum in the shade F2. And this is just a really nice light coverage foundation. And I'm just going to apply this onto my cheek. That was good aim. I'm really glad my nose was there to catch that. I'm just squirting it straight onto the face. And that's definitely enough. But I have just realised I forgot my glow serum, so I'm going to take my Revolution Glow Drops like I usually do. Normally I put this on before, but you can actually put it on with it as well, so we'll just do that instead. Blend on the face. And then I'm just taking this big fluffy brush to blend it into my skin. And I do think I've definitely put a bit too much on, because I find that this, even though it's a very lightweight serum foundation, it can almost be very full coverage as well. Like, you can see how much of my skin that's covered. I don't know if that's just because I don't have too much of a problematic, my skin isn't too problematic, so I don't know if that is the reason it feels more full coverage to me. Whereas to someone with more problematic skin or redness, at the time of using it, it may not feel as full coverage. And now I'm just going to take that same concealer and I'm going to put it under my eyes and on my high points. So I'm just going to put a little bit and a little bit there like that, just to cover my under eye, get the brightness that we want. And then I like to put a little bit on my T-zone. And then I'm just going to take that small version of the fluffy brush again and blend that all in lightly. And then I'm just going to go in on the under eye. I do find that a lot of the time it is easier to just go in with a beauty blender under here. But once I've started with the brush, you can't stop me. And then to set that in place, I'm just taking my Revolution Translucent Loose Powder on a powder puff, and I'm going to go in under my eyes mostly and pat that in. Just going to go basically everywhere I put the concealer, I'm going to set. And then I'm just going to take the powder puff a little on the rest of the face with whatever powder's left on the puff. And then for blush, I'm just taking my Charlotte Tilbury Disney 100 Beauty Light Wand. And it's basically just like this. So you twist it, you squeeze a little, close it, and then the product's in there. Let's hope you've actually squeezed enough out. I'm just going to dab it onto my cheek there. And then I'm going to take my finger and just give it a blend, because I found that, especially once I've set my face, my brush doesn't do this. Oh, we definitely just squeezed some out. Right, okay, try again. And then we're going to do the same on this cheek. And now I think to finish, I'm going to go in with my Charlotte Tilbury Airbrush Bronzer. This is in the shade Medium. And I'm just going to take this little angle brush from Morphe and lightly dip into it. And we're just going to bronze the cheeks, the forehead, and the nose. And then I just take the same brush, just do a little buff down the nose with that product. And then I think to finish, we're going to go in with lips, because we almost did like a 2-in-1 with the light blush wand. It's a highlighter as well as a blush. I'm not going to go in with any highlighter on top of that, because we don't want it to look too thick or anything. So last step is going to be lips, but just before we do that, I'm going to add a bit of that brown mascara to the bottom lash as well. I'm just going to do this very lightly because I don't want to get any on the underneath of my eye. And then for lips, I think I'm just going to go in with the basic clear lip oil. This is the Revolution one. It is kind of tinted pink now from using it on top of all of my lip liners. But what can I do? And I'm just going to apply that on its own. And it's got a bit of a pinky tinge to it on the lip because of the stain in it. Finally, we're going to go in with my Morphe Luminous setting spray for the first actual time of needing to wear it. I think, near enough. And I'm just going to spray quite a bit of that on so that it stays on throughout the day. And this is my finished spring everyday makeup look for you guys. So guys, this is the finished makeup. Kind of in love with it. It's very glowy, very light, very spring. It feels. This might be some people's kind of going out makeup. Obviously, you guys know that's not me. This is, maybe the skin is a little more full coverage than I would say, because sometimes if I do wear makeup, I will literally only wear concealer. But eyeshadow wise and lip wise, this is not very full coverage going out for me, but I like it, and it's kind of making me want to wear makeup more in the day just to go do things. But yeah, it brings me back to my days of wearing makeup every day to school. Full face, full brows, full eyeliner. And nobody does that anymore. But my little natural spring makeup, shiny, glowy. And it took me about an hour in total, but that's because I was stopping to film for you guys, and I also was filming a little over on TikTok as well. So obviously it just takes a bit longer than if I was just sat in the mirror just doing it, because I'm not talking through the steps. I'm not stopping and starting each different thing. Yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this week's little chilled, basic, stripped back makeup video. I hope you didn't miss the creative stuff too much. It's only 1 week, guys. There's only so much we can do with natural everyday makeups, otherwise you'd be watching the same video over and over again. But I'm sure I'll do one of these again soon in the future. And yeah, I hope you all managed to follow along if that's what you wanted to do. Hope you enjoyed this inspiration makeup for whatever event it is that you're looking for makeup for. Or just hope you enjoyed this watch, to be honest. Okay, anyway, I'm going to stop yapping now. Thank you guys so much for watching. Please don't forget to like, subscribe, and leave a comment if you feel like it. I really appreciate it. All of my socials are linked in the description down below, including my client socials. So if you want to book in for any services, etc., they are all in the description. Over on my TikTok, I post similar content to here. Try to differ it a little bit so that it's not too in sync. And yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you guys back here next week for another one. Thanks for watching, guys. Bye.